The Rebel Blackstar. What do we know about this short-lived lure? Well, was it the hottest in 80s fishing technology, or a bunch of gimmick and fluff to help Rebel sell more lures? Or maybe you don't know anything at all about it. This week on Angling Archaeology, we're going to answer those questions and more. Stick around. The Rebel Blackstar. Entering a new era of fishing lure technology. Well, so they say, or is it just a gimmick to get you to buy more lures? We'll let you be the judge. With a copyright date of 1986 and an initial appearance in the 1987 Bass Pro catalog, the Rebel Blackstar claims to use all the latest technology for the ultimate fishing lure. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the package to see exactly what we're working with. Now if you notice here towards the top, it says, for nearly a decade, fishermen had come to respect the use of graphite in their equipment. This remarkable carbon-based material reduces weight, adds strength, and most importantly, provides super sensitivity. The line tie of the Blackstar is molded of graphite. When combined with a graphite rod, it allows the angler to detect every bit of the lure's action during its retrieve. This unique, first-of-its-kind line tie, upon perfect alignment, is sonically welded into place. With this bonding, the line tie and lure become one piece, perfectly aligned for tune-free performance. It goes on to say that it comes equipped with a snap and to always use a snap rather than tie directly to the graphite line tie. The reason for this, as they note, is that it helps allow the Blackstar to move freely. So right off the bat, they're already putting a lot of emphasis into the graphite of not only the line tie, but also the rod that you're using. You have to think of other variables though. What kind of line are you using? And what's the weight of that line? What conditions are you fishing in? So maybe take the graphite nature with a little bit of a grain of salt, because there's going to be other variables involved. Now let's move on to the body of the lure. It says that all of Blackstar's colors are molded into the upper color module. Designed into the color module are concentric rings which collect and amplify the light rays entering the lure to enhance Blackstar's colors to almost neon brilliance. So I guess in simple terms here, what they're saying is as light reflects this lure, it's going to be brighter. It then goes on to say that the hooks have a black stealth finish. And then at the very bottom here, it talks about the clear underside of the Blackstar also reflects new technology in lure dynamics. Its sponson-like design gives incredible stability both during the long cast and high-speed retrieves. It ends by saying that the Blackstar is a floater diver on a normal retrieve, runs from a depth of around 5.5 to 6.5 feet. Now I really have to applaud whoever wrote the back of this card, because they really used some pretty fancy words to jazz up what is essentially just a clear plastic lure with a colored top, rattles in the middle, and a graphite line tie with a snap on it. But I gotta tell you, personally, I love the look of this lure. Shown here in the initial 1987 Bass Pro catalog, we see the Blackstar comes in 6 core colors: smoke, purple, orange, chartreuse, red, and blue. They're all a 1/2 ounce and 3 1/4 inches long. Next year in this 1988 ad, we not only see the addition of more colors, but we also see the addition of the jointed Blackstar minnow, which is 5/8 ounce and 5 5/8 inches long. Well, whether you think the Blackstar is the hottest in 80s fishing technology or just a trick to get you to buy more lures, there's no denying it's got a very distinct, and in my opinion, pretty cool look. I guess there's only one thing to do at this point. We gotta see if this old Blackstar can bag some bass. All right, here's the action in the water. Nice little tight wiggle. I think it's gonna be a little tough in the stained water with this color, but it's worth a shot.
don't think this crankbait's getting down far enough. Well, goose egg. Man, nothing hiding underneath there. That's weird. There it is. Finally. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Whoa. Wow, that is a nice crappie. All right, so after a couple attempts, I caught a fish on the Blackstar. Now, the weather, the wind, and the water clarity didn't exactly cooperate. And I did say earlier in the video, will I bag a bass? Well, I didn't technically get a bass, but I did get a really nice crappie. So in my opinion, that's a big win. Now back to the original question. Is this the hottest in 80s fishing technology? Well, I don't know about that. You know, I wouldn't say this is Gimmick by any means because we caught fish. And I really think that the movement in the water is great. If they made this today, I would buy it 100%. Now, what I do think is over-engineered or unnecessary is the graphite right here. I don't think you need to have that. If this was all one plastic piece, I think that would be just fine. Now, let me show you what my setup was before we get into that a little bit further. It said on the back of the card to use a graphite rod. That was all the rage back in the late 80s or whatever else. So I didn't do that. I used a carbon fiber. This is a Duckett medium heavy 7-foot Silverado rod. Fantastic rod, one of my favorite ones. And then I used this Daiwa baitcaster, and I used 12-pound, I believe this is Seagar Yellow Label fluoro. So going back to the graphite, are you going to be able to really tell in the water when this thing's vibrating in the water, every little tick or hit? Well, if a fish is going to swipe at it, you're going to feel it regardless if it has this graphite on it or not. So I don't think this is necessary. And even though I didn't use a graphite rod, as they suggested, I don't think that would make a difference. And I also think your line too, this is pretty good line. You feel stuff with this line. So I felt the vibration. I don't know that that's necessary, but the rest of the lure I think is really, really cool. And the reason we're outside in front of the old cool ranch right here is because I wanted you to see in the sunlight this lure. I really think that they did a great job with the design on this. I think the light reflects really well on here. And the rattles are great. I think the lip has excellent movement. So I would not call this a gimmick by any means. In fact, I will keep one of these in the tackle box just to throw for fun, because not only do I just love the sheer looks of this lure, I think it's pretty darn cool. I just think it's a pretty neat one, and it's fun to collect. Why would you not? Now, there is one downside to this. I think their hooks were a little goofy. Now, we'll show you right here. So the hooks kept on getting tangled into each other, like so. So when I cast out, it would look like this. And it's too easy for these to get hooked together. So one of two things, Rebel could have done a little bit better. Probably did a smaller hook up front to meet the same size as this hook. This one appears to be a little bigger up front. So if maybe these were smaller, or if they would have moved the hook up a little further, but maybe that would have messed with the way that it works in the water. I don't know. But that's the only downside, is that you have to watch this. They seem to hook together quite a bit. But other than that, I mean, you can change out hooks. That's just nitpicking, but I think it's a great lure. So if you have the opportunity, maybe you have one in your tackle box, you found one in an estate sale or a garage sale, or maybe just hunt on eBay for a little bit. You can find them. They have really cool designs. Not only in these colors, they have a really nice craw pattern one that's pretty awesome. Pick one up, give it a whirl, fish it, have fun. So last but not least, we've got a giveaway, folks. Now, if you didn't watch last week's video about spinnerbaits, stop what you're doing. Get over there, watch that video. It's right here. It's fantastic. It's an hour long, so grab some popcorn and your favorite beverage. Might take a little bit, but we're gonna be giving away this right here. 2 Angling Archaeology decals, a very rare schooler spinnerbait, and a buzzbait by none other than Lunker Lures. You're not gonna wanna miss this. All you have to do is subscribe and comment below that video, the spinnerbait video, what your favorite spinnerbait is. We've had a lot of comments. Thank you so much for everybody who has written in, and I'll just pull a name out of a hat. We'll pick a winner. Speaking of a hat, man, it's getting windy out here. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode of Angling Archaeology, where we unearth the good old days. I wanna thank you all for watching, liking, and subscribing. And if you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Until next time, folks, we'll see you out on the water. Oh, and you might just see this puppy coming soon. All right, we'll see you, folks.
Thanks for watching Angling Archaeology, where we unearth the good old days. Don't forget to like and subscribe.